give us a light, mate.
You can't smoke in here.
Yes, I can. Watch. Well, after the American tour, which ended in March 2002, we sort of came back to England and wrote some new songs, but, frankly, we were cream crackered, knackered. We played our last date together as a band at the Isle of MTV show in Portugal around, when was it? It was June 2002, and that was it. And after that, we just concentrated on trying to make this sort of turdy Gorillaz film.
Yeah, well, we got so many offers to make a film in America. At the time, it seemed like a waste not to take the opportunity.
So we all moved over to LA for a while, La La Land, and we sort of hired this big house out in the sort of kind of like a Hollywood thing, it's like up in the hills, so that we could sort of be right in the hub, you know what I'm saying? In the hub of where we were sort of meant to be filming, but I've got to say, man, there was a lot of great distractions, you know what I mean?
And the film negotiations were just endless.
Oh, man, that was just like really, really tedious,
Yeah, we got caught up in rehearsals, meetings, script approvals.
The script was unfinished. The people writing it thought they were making a very insightful yet ironic comment on popular culture, supposedly non-linear Charlie Kaufman-esque animation in which the four main protagonists, namely Gorillaz, fall randomly in and out of a number of surreal situations. But in fact, the scriptwriters were just making it up as they went along.
Will you wake us up when you finish, Noodle?
I guess what she's trying to say is they thought it was going to be like a modern version of the Monkees movie Head.
Yeah, thing is, the person they chose to play me, he looked like some old wrinkly geriatric, It's really insulting. And he smelt, what a pen and ink, I think it might have been Robert Downey Sr. I mean, that guy must have been pushing 70,
Have you looked in the mirror recently?
Listen, mate, I may be no spring chicken, but I don't look that rough, do I? I mean, the wrinkles on my face are all laughter lines.
Nothing's that funny. Anyhow, the situation went downhill from there. No one was focused enough. 2D couldn't understand the difference between film and reality. Murdoch got himself kicked out of the Playboy mansions for stealing ashtrays.
And Russell got a big fat ego and then changed his name to R. Diddy.
So eventually we decided to cut our losses and take time off to recuperate.
This just led to further misadventure.
So, man, when we realised we were just sort of whistling in the wind, we decided to have a break from each other. So I headed down south to try my luck in Mexico. But there was some sort of mix-up, my finances, and I kind of got accused of...
Yeah. He was found using counterfeit checks in a Mexican brothel.
Yeah, the Chicken Choker. Wonderful place and fantastic staff. Happy days.
Basically, he got caught passing dud checks off as payment to the girls. And consequently, Murdoch got taken to jail.
Yeah, all right, Russell. Russell spent a long time trying to recuperate. He ended up living in Ike Turner's basement. Ike Turner! You went a wee bit mental, didn't you, Russ?
Well, he certainly looked a lot like Ike Turner. I was working on an album of my own, but eventually it felt like the album was working on me. It was a strange time. When you work in a band with people for such a long period, and then that suddenly stops, it can leave you at a loss. I think I had some kind of breakdown. I just lost one of my closest friends, Dale, the spirit who used to live inside me, and the strain was starting to show. Every song I tried to record would become a hallucination. Then the hallucination would try to write the song, which would then get up and become
Russell, man. It's probably no.
I'm sorry.
No, man, it's all right.
I'm sorry.
Take it easy, man. Take it easy. Have a salad. You know?
Okay.
It's probably best, not to dig too deep on this one. Dark place, man. Dark place. So anyway, after 18 months in this sort of Tijuana jail, I thought enough is enough. And with a little help from my friends, I got myself sort of out and back home to Blighty and the good old U of the K. But I tell you, that's enough South America for me for a while. The prison food is rubbish. I don't think I could eat another burrito in my life.
Yeah, but you still like a bit Mexican sausage, eh, man?
Shut up, you little So, by the time I got back, Noodle had also returned from her trip to her Japanese homeland and was already in the process of recording a new album, or, at least laying down a lot of the groundwork.
Yes, I had been in Japan for about a year, researching my past, as it had always been a mystery to me. It was during this period that I was awoken from my extended amnesia, and in doing so, I discovered many interesting facts about myself, one of which is that I knew English language fluently. Having been revitalized, I returned to England and I began to lay foundation for a new Gorillaz album. However, Kong Studios, where we live and record, had been lying dormant and empty during our absence.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to get good staff to clean a haunted studio.
Yes, no one had maintained the building and it had also been broken into. There seemed to be a plague of the walking undead infesting the building. Corpses lined the corridors.
So once we were back, it took a little while to get into the swing of things. I mean, it can be very distracting when you got 6 or 7 decomposing zombies stuck up your chimney flue,
We got chimney flue?
I'm speaking metaphorically, D. I'm using the analogy of a chimney flue to describe the passageways of our flowing creativity. The zombies in this case are used as a metaphor, as in blockages to the airways, figuratively speaking.
Really?
No. There really are about 6 or 7 undead carcasses stuck up the studio chimney.
That explains the smell, wouldn't it? Yeah. I stayed round in Los Angeles for a while. I got invited to stay round Brick Eklund's flat. But she's nuts. Running around naked, banging on the walls half the night. I never got any sleep. So I nodded off back to my dad's place on the coast of England. I got a temporary job work on the rise at my old man's fun fair, which was wicked really. It did a lot for my confidence, yeah? I put up with a lot less crap than that geriatric Murdoch now.
Oi, you! Pass us the ashtray, now!
Yeah, certainly, sir. Here you go.
I originally discovered the building, which now houses Kong Studios, back in 1999. I was looking for a cheap studio space on the internet, and it threw up this little gem. It's located on a hilltop in Essex, and believe me, there aren't many hills in Essex. There's one in Leindon, I think. But it wasn't until we'd sort of been there for a year or so that we discovered the truth about the place.
Oh, horrible.
It turns out the original site for the building was like a druid's meeting point. It was picked specially for its unique alignment of dark energies and hideous ley lines. The first Kong building was erected on top of an old disused cemetery. A lot of people who died in the Great Plague of 1665 were dumped there in shallow graves and burial pits.
Poor people.
Yeah, poor people. The current building, where our studios are, is situated next to one of the biggest landfill sites in the country. So it's like sort of, it's full of old fridges, nappies, colostomy bags, rotten cows, all sorts. Just barely buried, And in the middle of the summer, when it gets hot, the stench is unbelievable. It's like someone cooking turds or something.
And no one seems to sell efficient air freshener in Essex.
No. I mean, the last owners were this kind of biker gang, these cats who use the building as their clubhouse. They're called the Nomads. But they'd chosen to settle there for some reason. Anyway, one night they all got caught in a fire in the building, burnt to a crisp. Which no one told us about when we bought the place.
Man, that place is full of bad spirits and sick vibrations.
Still, we gave it a lick of paint and hung up a couple of posters. It looks great. It's got underfloor heating already installed, so it can't be all bad, eh, kids?
Yes, the website Gorillaz.com allows online fans to roam around the Kong Studios building. As the place acts as a home, as studios and Gorillaz HQ, there's a lot for people to see and do. There are interactive cameras in every room and corridor of the building, allowing people to see right into their lives. They can use the instruments in the studio room or talk to the characters that hang out there.
Yeah, there's like various places they can go.
It's also the place where the fans can interact with each other on the message boards. And now we got our own auditions room where people can send in their tapes and animations and work. Noodle's currently running a competition to find new talent, maybe someone to work with the Gorillaz in some way.
We've had some fantastic entries, and there's like 3 or 4 floors to the building now, right? And you can like look around our bedrooms, yeah.
Why would anyone want to look around your bedroom?
Basically, we spent a lot of money extending the place, building more and more parts onto it. It's been broken into a couple of times whilst we've been away. Some vandals sprayed a lot of anti-Murdoch graffiti on the walls.
Things like Murdoch is a twat, and things like Murdoch is a twat.
You mongrel. Still in the mood, aren't you? Because Busted split up.
Also, the producer we've been working with, Danger Mouse, found a whole underground section of the place that had been blocked off for years. Pretty creepy.
I'm really parched, I'm spitting feathers. Is there anybody who could get me a beer around here? Anywhere at all you can get one of those things. Noodle started working on the initial sketches of the album while we were all still kind of preoccupied, Lucky for her, I'd left a very specific set of instructions as to how the new song should, sound.
That was just a tape of you humming.
Gotcha.
Actually, Noodle wrote most of the album herself. Murdoch may try to take the credit for it, but from the basic sketches to the finished album, this was Noodle's vision.
Hi. So, I started writing near the beginning of the year, around March of 2004. I began just writing basic tunes on my Tascam 4-track, sketching out ideas as I proceeded. Once I had what I felt to be the main outline and template for the album, I started laying further textures, melodies and sounds over the top. The compositions began to take shape, and gradually the songs began revealing their true identities and to which direction they needed to be taken. But at this stage, they lacked that certain life and still required that spark of electricity that transforms a great song into something that has a magical life of its own.
Well, I would have helped her out, but as I said, I was still in jail at this time,
And yes, and it was around then that I heard of DJ Danger Mouse. I was impressed with the work he had done on his own Grey album, which I had downloaded from the internet. On the Grey album, he had spliced together the work of the Beatles and Jay-Z to create something new. It was wonderfully inventive and showed a childlike creativity, artistic bravery, and disregard for convention that I thought suited Gorillaz. So I contacted him.
Then what happened?
Well, it took a while to convince him to work with Gorillaz.
Yeah, I think he was at ease relaxing on his new island. Just kind of burning through all the cash he made off the Grey album sales.
He wasn't overly keen on leaving sunny LA to go and work in a rundown, haunted studio in rain-sodden Essex. Although, I can't think why.
Me neither.
But, Gorillaz have ways of making it work.
Shh.
The album took a leap into the incredible when the producer Danger Mouse finally arrived. This would be around June 2004. Mr. Mouse and myself immediately began an intricate pre-production session.
Yeah, this mainly involves sort of playing table tennis and listening to a load of old electro records. He's an odd-looking fellow, you know, that Danger Mouse. He's got like this, you know, sort of like huge hair, you know. No, I mean really, really big hair. He looks a little bit like that David Blaine cat, you know, with a wig, like he's got a wig on. You know?
No. Yes, so the recording session became more intense, and the more we proceeded, the more in synchronization we became. Danger Mouse is a very instinctive and insightful producer. He looks to find the relevance or sort of a song. Once he had located a particular voice of a track, he will then make it talk to the other compositions around it. This way, the album works as a complete article. As the full understanding of what we were making became apparent, we began to draft in various collaborators to add certain souls to the relevant tracks. Each artist would have to complete the expedition all the way to the summit of Kong Studios in order to record.
Although some of the latest submissions have been delivered via digital phone lines from around the globe.
So I finally got back around October, then what's his name? 2D turned up.
Hello?
Then Big Russell got back from his little mental vacation late last November.
Noodle and Danger Mouse basically called us in to do our parts. For 2D to do his vocals, Murdoch to redo some bass lines, and any other collaborators were called in as and when we needed them. But apart from that, they've been highly secretive about the whole recording. They didn't even let other Gorillaz really hear it.
Yeah, didn't want to.
Finally, when we knew we had what we needed, we all fled the confines of Kong and set up camp over the Pierce Rooms in West London. It was here that we added the last of the overdubs and worked on the final mixdown.
Oh, I'm bored of all this. Oh, anyone fancy a quick behind?
Shut up, man.
Don't have a cow, man.
And it was during this period that we isolated the songs which, although were stand-out tracks musically, didn't fit in with the overall sensibility of the album. They were then removed, yes, and there was a songs that seemed maybe part of a different dialogue and would have interrupted the arc of the album's narrative. It had to be focused and efficient, a consistent thought, yes.
You see, it's all in the edit. The album was then mastered over in New York, January 2005, and that was it, completed.
Yeah, well, so it came out pretty well like I told it to make it in the first place.
The album opens with an ominous swirling soundscape of voodoo-esque percussion, keyboard bassoons, and sirens.
You can tell there's big trouble ahead.
This uses a sample taken from the George Romero film, Dawn of the Dead. We use this because it expressed a similar sense of foreboding about the world that we feel at this time too. There's a sense that people in some certain quarters are working on motorized instinct as unthinking automatons rather than with any genuine humanity, sensitivity or understanding of the consequences of their actions.
No, I thought we used it because I like the zombie films, yeah? There's this wicked bit, right, when the zombies tear off the biker's arm, yeah?
Yeah, well, whatever, you know. It's from some stupid zombie flick, and we thought it set the rest of the album up quite well. Next.
This is built up around a simple rhythm. Sonically, there's a nod to the early drum machine sounds that appeared on the second specials
Yeah,
album.
well, it's like a kind of dub meets like European cinema thing.
Yes, thematically, it's a continuation of the intro sensibility. Sometimes the climate we live in can make you feel like you are one of the few sentient beings left. That maybe the ability to have sensitivity to life can make you feel like the outsider.
A lone trooper.
The spirits of the moment can be quite isolating. The evidence that we are sometimes presented is that being conscious and cautious of your actions can be viewed as a weakness or hindrance, and not necessarily the most useful ability in this day and age.
Yeah, odd that, innit? Anyway,
It can make you feel like the last living souls on earth, good or bad. Musically, the sense of introspection is reflected in the acoustic and piano refrains. It's a harmonious battle between digital and acoustic.
and if you listen really closely, there's some old geezer coughing in the background.
This is a more down-tempo track, like nighttime maneuvers, the equivalent of creeping up on the enemy.
Hey, and as a progression of the album's narrative, there is a sense of being forced into a position of having to arm your children. The arms are ambiguous, but there is a definite sense of conflict on the way. Desensitize yourself before you get taken advantage of. They're turning us into monsters is an expression of that transition of training people how to lose their compassion.
It's a jungle out there.
Yeah, sometimes it makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
What's the name of the girl who sings on this one? Lovely lady. Very helpful.
Thank you. This track features a guest vocal from Nina Cherry. I loved her Raw Like Sushi Bigo album. She's always had a positive, collaborative attitude towards music. 7 Seconds with Yusundor is a superlative tune.
Yes, and towards the outro, there is a moment of subdued tension that then allows itself to explode into space, and then the track soars off into the distance.
A repetitive piano note stabs away like a slowed-down version of the Stooges. The restraint in the earlier section of the song is actually what gives it the power at the end.
So, and the key is maybe in the word pacify.
You know, if I have to die, I want to go in my sleep like my dad. Not screaming and like yelling like all his passengers.
This song is the sound of someone's train coming off its coasters, the march of the madman. We gave 2D's vocals a distorted megaphone effect as this fitted the soul of the track. It is to make the vocal section seem like a memory from the past.
Yeah, like some old vaudeville track.
Yeah, like some old vaudeville track.
Is there an echo in here?
And some of the spooky sounds on this track were caught on tape by accident. It is believed that they are the mysterious recordings of paranormal experiences going on at the Kong Studios. If you listen really carefully, you can hear a growling and whispering in the background. For this reason, this track was almost left off the album, but it was decided it should remain as the track came out so well.
And it's not like Gorillaz aren't used to dealing with runaway spirits.
Musically, there's a tip of the hat to Bernard Herrmann's atonal string score from the Hitchcock movie Psycho.
So, and the intention of the vocal line is a reminder to keep a little greenery in your heart, or you may forget what you are fighting for in the first place. And that really is the domain of the undead.
Yeah, this one ends ominously on the haunting sound of a bell ringing into the distance.
Ask not for whom the bell tolls.
Oh, why not?
It tolls for thee.
Really?
Yes, really.
It sounds like my alarm clock.
Exactly.